Hey everyone, welcome to the Global Goddess Fest, where men and women are tuning in from around the world to receive education, connect with global leaders, and gain inspiration on creating the life of your dreams. So, super excited. Today we have Larissa Miller. Thank you for coming, dear soul sister, that we met at this beautiful gathering about probably a year ago.
Yeah, about.
Yeah, and she was there selling her pants and totally caught my eye. So she is the founder of Pi Yoga Pants.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. I started.
So
Mhm.
just a little bit more information about Larissa for those of you that are joining. So about a year and 10 months ago, she was traveling around the world and she totally fell in love with the spiritual culture of Bali and met her seamstress during her travels. And all of a sudden, Pi Yoga Pants.
Yeah.
And it's a sustainable fashion brand selling boutique style lounge and yoga pants made right in the tropical Bali. And she also donates 10% of the net profits back to the sea turtle conservation. So she's just a badass businesswoman who is also giving back to the planet. And we love hearing about these stories and, where your inspiration came from. So I guess my first question for you is, what got you going around and traveling the world? Like, did you have a vision of like, oh, I'm going to go travel the world and like figure out what my business is? Do you already know you wanted to have your own business, or what propelled you into like leaving everything behind and traveling?
uh, yeah. So it was kind of a risk when I left. I mean, I was working for a couple of years, about 2 years to save up for it. And I knew I wanted to travel, but I was like kind of scared. I was like, oh, I just need to save more money. I should just save more money, have a cushion, just because it's kind of scary leaving for that long. And I kind of had it in the back of my head that I wanted to start a business. I had another business that I started for a couple months, and it didn't really work out. It was just too expensive, too many liabilities. And anyways, the business ended up folding over. But then I was like, I really want to find something that would be like something more of interest to me. Because before I was doing golf cart rentals, and I don't know, I'm like a yoga traveling girl. I don't really care about golf carts. So I was like, let's find something that I'm actually like passionate about, something that actually interests me. So while I was traveling, I was looking like all over to try to find something. And I kind of had a feeling I wanted it to be around yoga. Um, and then the whole thing kind of just like connected the dots. I mean, they're not really your traditional yoga pants. We're more or less like making them into yoga pants, which is like completely revolutionizing like the yoga world in San Diego. Because before this, we just had like tight yoga pants, and I'm like, wait, you guys, we could do something totally different and be comfy and cute, and like you don't have to feel restricted in tight pants. So I had the idea going to the travels that I wanted to find something, and the fact that it kind of landed in my lap really helped propel business. And I ended up actually ending my travels early to come back to San Diego to start it. So that was another risk. I was like, I don't know if I want to come back home to San Diego yet. But I was like, when does a golden opportunity like this fall into your lap? Like, you have to just like take the signs and go for it.
Yeah. So what were those signs that you got?
The first one was when my taxi driver introduced me to my seamstress. I was literally just like making like just shooting the shit with him, and just like joking and saying like, oh yeah, I want to start a yoga pants business. He's like, oh, what kind of pants? I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe like these. And he's like, oh yeah, I know someone that could do that. And I'm like, no, you don't. And he's like, yeah, I do. I was like, where? He's like, yeah, it's just in Denpasar. We can go there. And we were going from Ubud from the airport. We turned around and went down to Denpasar and spent like the next 2 days in Ubud trying to figure it out. And I was like, oh, they look really good, but I don't have like someone who could make a label. And they look nice, but it just looks like kind of any other pant right now. And they're like, oh yeah, my friend. They always have like a friend. So he's like, oh yeah, my friend can make you a label. And like literally the next day they made a label, and they're like, how do you guys want it? And I'm like, I guess like high yoga. And they're like, yeah, no problem. Give me a day. And like within a day, we had this, like a couple of days, we had the sample ready. And when they pulled out like the final piece, I was looking at it and I was like, oh my God, like that looks so legit right now. Like this could actually be a business if I want to try to pursue it. But at the time I was still rather nervous. And financially of traveling, my budget was like $50 a day. So there wasn't really extra expenses to put into a business. But I was like, let's see if I can put $500 aside into this business idea and see if it can kind of like fold over from there, not really put too much of an investment in it up front, but just something small to keep it going. And if it does turn a profit, the profit from that I'll use to reinvest in the business and then kind of like build it from there. And yeah, I was super excited that it's working out because I was really nervous at first. But it was a really good learning experience to see how you can really take a small amount of money and really turn it into something, And I feel like a lot of times people get scared because when they think of starting a business, they think they have to have thousands and thousands of capital to get it going. I mean, granted, it definitely took a lot longer to get the ball rolling, having such little finances into it, but it's also taught me a lot about like the value of money and the importance of where to allocate it throughout the business.
Totally. And where did you come up with the name?
Oh, well, okay. So when I was traveling around, I had the idea originally in Thailand, and then I went up to Pai in Thailand. Have you ever been there? I feel like you traveled quite a bit. Well, it's in the northern part of Thailand. It's just above Chiang Mai. So when you get up there, you can either go north 4 hours to Pai, or you can go north 4 more hours to Chiang Rai. I was like, oh, Pai or Chiang Rai, and decided to go to Pai. And when I got there, it was like this absolutely gorgeous place. Like you're going through the rolling hills all the way up into the mountains, and then when you get there, there's these canyons that have this amazing view of the sunset. And it's just a really magical place in general. Like the town is only like 4 blocks by 4 blocks. It's not really that big. It's like country up there, and it's cold too. And that's not something you really think about when you think of Thailand. But the city in general was just so magical. And I was like, you know what, this will be like a perfect like center around the business. That's kind of when I got the idea rolling a little bit more, started making the Instagram, got all the domains on Instagram. They're all available. And I was like, okay, the signs are all pointing in the right direction. The GoDaddy domain was like 99 cents. I was like, okay, this is too easy right now. Like I should definitely try to do this. So the name originally originates from pi in Thailand, but I also like the idea that the number pi goes on forever. And so I saw a bit of a magical and metaphorical representation there, because my vision for the brand was for me, myself, to continue following the dreams for what I wanted to do, and to also inspire others to not just settle for like a basic job just because of the security or because they think it's safe, but to really pursue what you want to do and know that it's going to work out for the best if you keep doing what you want to do. Even if it's not like perfect right now, it's because you need time to build it and build that confidence. But if you keep doing what you do and what you like, or sorry, if you keep doing what you like and what you love, it's just going to become greater and greater, and you're just manifesting even more what you want to get out of this world.
Beautiful. I love it. And what can you tell us more about why sea turtles? Why did you choose to donate back to sea turtles?
Yeah, and so believe it or not, I wanted to like make something that would go back to the elephants, because I love the elephants in Chiang Mai in Thailand. But didn't find a seamstress in Thailand. I found one in Bali. And so when I got to Bali, I was asking around and I was like, yeah, are there any elephants here? And they're like, no, like there's a few, but all the elephants here they import, and it's pretty much just for tourism. And I'm like, okay, so there's definitely no like natural elephants here. Let's see what we can work with on a more like local level. And I got to diving in Gili T, and that's when I saw like a few sea turtles in the ocean. But then when you look down a little bit more, you see like all this, the coral is like pretty much destroyed, Like at first I didn't know coral was supposed to be colorful, because all the coral there was just kind of like white and like kind of had that cobweb stuff on it. It's not until I went like down south a little bit more to like Nusa Lembongan that I realized the coral is supposed to be actually a lot brighter than that. So I saw immediately, I was like, okay, this is where I can help. The question was just how. And so that's what I spent a lot of time doing research on. I've networked with a few organizations. The main one is the Gili Eco Trust in Gili Trawangan. And one of the main things that they do is like reef restoration through building biorocks. And there's a lot of technicalities that go into it. I won't bore you with all the details, but what they're working to do is rebuild the reef by using rebar and connecting currents that go through it to help regrow the coral 8 times stronger. And they'd also rebuild the reef at deeper depths, because what's happening is that a lot of the reefs are dying also because the water temperature increase. So by building the reefs a little bit lower and building them stronger, we're setting them up for a longer life and a more sustainable life under the ocean. If we're gonna see.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool thing, like as a customer of yours, to be like, oh, I'm getting these pants and I'm helping out. Like,
yeah,
it's badass.
Yeah, everyone loves it. They're like, oh yeah, they're pants with a purpose. And it's so interesting too, because we've learned so much into the ocean conservation and sea turtle conservation. Like we've watched this one film called Chasing Coral too. And if you guys have a chance to, it's on Netflix and it's a really good documentary explaining exactly what's going on in the oceans right now. Just touches on the surface though, but you realize after diving so far into it, there's so many different ways that you can help. And I feel like it's also important for the customer knowing that I'm getting educated and finding new ways to help out. But beyond that, we're getting everybody else involved too. Like the last time I went to Bali to do the reef conservation, we brought 5 of our friends from San Diego who were like ambitious to go on their own and meet us there and help out, you know? So they're definitely like spreading the word, and the more people that get involved definitely helps.
So cool. Has there been any challenges with being a sustainable company from the very beginning? I know I have a lot of friends that, and I've heard this from many people, is like, well, you need to get your business like all checked and squared away.
Yeah.
Then you can add on the community development or
Yeah.
sustainability practices. Did you add it on later, or did you start off with this like in mind as a main component?
So one of the main things I was trying to like structure the business around when I started it is like, okay, if I could have any sort of, I wanted to work backwards, you know, like figure my business is already successful and it's already as the best as can be. Where would I want the business to be? And that's where I started from, because I was like, I don't want to have to wait for the future to try to build up to get to a certain point. I don't know what I was reading at the time, but some book, and they're like, if you want to achieve something, you have to have the final goal and then work backwards to set a solid foundation to make sure that it will work all the way through, and that way you don't lose your focus or your mission. And also, when I was thinking about what kind of business I would want to create, the main things that really came to my mind were creating a brand that would help out and actually have more of a purpose, you know? I used to do event planning and marketing, and at one point I was doing food demos for like cheese companies, and I was like, okay, my life really has no purpose right now. Like this is so insignificant to absolutely anything. Like we can do better than this. So I really wanted to like have that infrastructure set up from the beginning on a conservation level. And then also for a personal level, I knew I wanted to get involved with something with health and fitness. And yoga was what it seemed to be my focus at the time. So I decided to hone in on that. Because for me personally, I know I was working like office jobs, like 9 to 5, 9 to 7, 9 to 8. You know, you start to lose track of the hours. Like I was getting really stressed out. My face was going numb. I was gaining weight, not enough time for yoga. And I was just like, I have to incorporate fitness or health somewhat into my career path to not only force me to stay involved, but to also make sure that I can have a healthier lifestyle on a daily basis, not just when I'm off work. And to me, those are two things that I really valued in starting the business.
Yeah, it's like creating this holistic life,
Yeah,
business,
something.
career, and personal life.
Yeah, and something that like I can work with to also grow with my friends and family too. Like my mom, she now does yoga. She goes to yoga on her own now sometimes. Like that wouldn't have happened 2 years ago. So it's definitely having a positive impact, I think, on the people around me and everyone that's getting involved. I mean, part of our mission is to empower women of all shapes and sizes to do yoga by offering so many different options and size for the pants. Like they go up to size 16. So now even the women that were size 16 that didn't have an option for yoga pants before are now feeling a little bit more empowered to try yoga, even though it could have been something that could be intimidating. You know, I know I felt intimidated when I first did yoga. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what would you say to maybe someone that is 2 years, you know, 2 years younger than you in terms of growing your business, and they like just have this idea and dream? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Ooh, I would tell them make a sample and start showing their friends and see if they like it, or just wear it around and see if you get compliments too. I think that's one of the biggest things when I make a prototype. I'll wear it around. If no one compliments me, I'm like, nope, it's not going to sell. um, so yeah, I would definitely say test the market, and also know that just because if something's not working in your market doesn't mean that there's a market where it won't work. You know, so definitely do your research. Traveling helps with that too, because then you can kind of like see what people are like in different areas and where it might be a good fit.
Totally.
Also, I would say just do it. Like just start it. I mean, it's gonna be hard, and maybe it's the wrong business, but at least you're gonna learn a lesson if you fail. You know, there's no failure in trying something new. There's only a lesson learned to do it better the next time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh, um, it's so cool, and it's so cool to see this revolution of people really doing what you're saying, starting from, okay, what do I want to really be giving back to the world? And I think it's just so powerful, and also it gives you a really personal, powerful stance too, to be able to use a company that is, you're like, you yourself you're a leader. You're a leader in the fashion industry and in the sustainability business, but also being a leader, showing other people, no matter what sort of business you're running, like, there are ways to get involved, and you can grow so much and get so much back when you're in that mode of giving and giving.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the awesome thing is too, like some people when they start a business are like, oh, I can't share any of my ideas with anybody. But the thing is, if you help other people grow too, like you guys are going to both get more successful and help each other out. And then the community just grows and grows. And then you have this whole system, like what you're creating, of powerful women. And it just keeps getting better and better and easier from there for all of us to succeed.
Definitely. Collaboration is a huge part.
Yes.
So where do you see your business going? Like, where do you see Pi Yoga Pants being in 5 years?
Ooh, 5 years. I just wrote this down in my passion planner. Let me take a look.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was doing my end of the year like check-ins. I was like, where am I with the business? Uh, I know. Let's see. Don't want to screw this up. Yeah, pretty much the same as when I started. My goal, everyone's like, oh, if it grows like really big, would you want to sell it? I'm like, no, I really want to challenge myself to like take it as big as Nike, like let's challenge ourselves to make this thing as big as possible and make it internationally recognized. Collaborations are key, like you said, especially on an international level. We're already looking to get into Amazon Australia starting in January if all the legalities go correctly. So, baby steps. And knowing when to trust other people and to ask for help has also been like really important and vital to the growth of the business. But I think it would be really cool to have like a whole athleisure line based around Pi Yoga and really see that take off and continue the mission of empowering women, men, and people of all shapes and sizes across the world to practice yoga and to live a healthy, sustainable lifestyle.
So beautiful. Yes. I see it. I see it. Well, everyone that's watching, thanks for joining. And Larissa is going to be giving everyone a chance to enter to win a $100
Yeah.
gift card.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely doing these pants are super cute, and we'll also have links to her website so you can check them out for yourself as well. Well,
Sounds
thank
good.
you all so much. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining. We'll see you
Thank you
soon.
too. Love you. See you guys.